Coming up on this episode, I'm showing you guys how to tie a simple Halalu or Akule rig so you guys can go ahead and utilize it at the beach while they're still biting. Stay tuned. Aloha guys, Justin here with yet another episode of Fish and Dive Hawaii, where we give you all the best fishing and diving tips here in the Aloha State. And I just have a quick announcement before we jump right into today's video, and that's regarding the 1K giveaway. So it was supposed to be included with this video, but had I done it all together, it would have been over 45 minutes long. So I split it into two parts. Part 2 is going to be coming out sometime next week, and that's the actual catching and cooking of the Halalu. Whereas part 1, which is this episode, is how to rig it up. So make sure you guys watch both and stay tuned next week, Tuesday or Thursday, for the giveaway information. Alright guys, so we are learning how to tie a Halalu, Akule, or Scad rig, and I'm going to be going over everything that you need and exactly how you're going to tie a rig like this. So first and foremost, you guys are going to need a pole and a reel. I have this Sedona 4000. This is about as big as you're going to want to get for the reel, and my pole is a 9-foot medium action. So this, I love this setup. It's good for whipping, but it's also really good for Halalu, Akule, but you can use a smaller pole. It's actually a little bit easier. So let's start off with these grubs, or these strips right here. Now Halalu, Akule, they love the little strips. Certain spots bite with different colors, but the spots that I go to, and you guys will see that tomorrow, they love biting the green ones. And other days you can kind of just mess around, but the green ones are always a go-to for me. So I have this Hawaiian Anglers one. I bought this at Target, and you can purchase these Makata lures too in whatever fishing supply. And these two I know have worked for me. I have this other colored pattern. You can see this is more of a bluish green, and this is more of a solid green. And I'm gonna be trying out some Kapani Lures bloodworms. Now I see a lot of people catching with this, and I really like Kapani Lures products, so I'm gonna be using this tomorrow as well. So we're gonna work our way up. The next thing you're gonna need is some hooks. So these are size 5. I purchased these at Waipahu Bike and Sporting Goods located in Waipahu. They have really awesome stuff over there, so I really suggest you guys go check it out. And these are really small hooks. I like the black ones or the darker ones opposed to the more traditional silver ones. I do feel like these help out a little bit, and for some reason I can't get this attached, but you can see just how small that is. Not even the size of my fingernail, and this is a perfect size that you're gonna wanna use for the Halalu and Akule. So what you're gonna be attaching to the hook and the lure is gonna be some fluorocarbon line. So I have tried out some regular leader, some regular monofilament line, and it really does make a difference using fluoro. And I don't think I caught anything with the regular leader. So for Halalu, you're really gonna wanna use the 2-pound test. This is some J line. You can purchase this at pretty much any fishing supply here in Hawaii or just in general. And then I also have these fluorocarbon leaders, Siguar, a 10-pound and a 12-pound, which I pretty much use for general whipping when I use the Kapani Lures grubs, the bigger ones. And these actually work for Halalu and Akule, but it has to be in sand, I've noticed. So when they're biting near the rocks or in a rocky area, they won't bite the 10-pound or the 12-pound test as much. I feel like they can see the line more opposed to the 2-pound test. So just to be safe, I recommend getting the 2-pound test. So now that you've got your grubs or your lures attached to your hook, attached to your line, you're gonna wanna get some crane swivels right here. So these are a size 4. You can see these are also very small. I'll pull one out for you guys just to get a reference. And again, barely even the size of my fingernail. The smaller ones work really good, and you can get away with using a little bit bigger ones, but make sure it's not too big. So you're gonna be attaching the leader or the fluorocarbon on this side, and the other side you're gonna attach it straight to your reel line. But before you attach it, you're gonna wanna add some lead. So for my pole and my setup, I use 1 ounces. These are just different sizes or different shapes of the 1 ounces. I did use my brother's pole, which is a little bit bigger one, so I picked up 1.5 ounce. So just make sure you play around with your pole. If you're gonna use a smaller pole, I recommend a 1/2 ounce or a 3/4 ounce because the 1 ounce can be really heavy on the smaller rigs. You guys have seen in previous videos where I recommend using the bubble, but I do not recommend using a bubble for Halalu or Akule because they are not a top water swimming fish. And the main purpose for using a bubble is when you guys are fishing in reefy areas where you don't want to get it snagged. But with Halalu and Akule, they really like to hang out in sandy pocket areas, kind of in safe zones and harbors, in bays and whatnot. So there's rarely any reef inside. I do not recommend using a bubble for Halalu and Akule fishing. What I would recommend instead is a hammer bomb. Now make sure you guys go to a spot where you know it's sandy or you know that you can retrieve this, because these can be a little bit pricey. I'm pretty sure these are locally made. These hammer bombs, this is a 2 ounce, so I'm not going to be throwing this, but I just wanted to show you guys an example of one. And I'm pretty sure this one is glow in the dark as well, but I did have a 1 ounce one that I was using. They have these in black, neon yellow one, and a colorful one, the flash bombs. So these hammer bombs you can purchase at certain stores. I'm pretty sure you can purchase them online. If I can find the link, I'll put it down in the description. But these work really well. They don't sink quite as fast as the lead does, and so it's perfect because the Halalu are more kind of a mid-range bottom feeding sort of fish. So this works perfect. But again, make sure you guys are fishing in areas where you're not at risk of losing this, because you will be pretty bummed out. Oh, and one more thing about the hammer bomb. If you guys are gonna be using this, you do not need a splitter or any other type of lead. As you can see, they have 2 on your own. So this is gonna hook up directly to your pole, and then this side is gonna hook up directly to your leader, your fluorocarbon, or whatever you're using. So it's really neat, and I highly suggest getting a hammer bomb just to try it out. So let me give you guys a brief overview on how you're gonna set this up. So you have your reel attached to your pole, obviously, and that's gonna go through this lead right here, or the hammer bomb, whichever one you guys are gonna decide to use. And that's gonna attach to your splitter, and your splitter is gonna attach to your fluoro. Your fluoro is gonna attach to your hook, and your hook is going to be attached to your lure. Right now I'm going to be preparing some rigs for tomorrow just so that I have some ready. It's always good to be prepared, tie it the night before, that way when you hit the beach you're ready to go. So I got my little swivel right here and my fluorocarbon line. This is the one I'm going to be using tomorrow, 10-pound test. So the first thing you want to do is make 2 arm lengths for the fluorocarbon. So I'm going to run it all the way down, and then again, depending on how long your arms are. I'm 6 feet tall, so it's gonna be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter for me. So you might wanna go 3 arms length, but about 10 to 12 feet is perfect. So the reason why they make the leader so long is that the lead or the hammer bomb or whatever you're using is as far away from the lure and the hook as it can be, because these fish can get spooked really fast. So the shorter you make the leader, the less fish you'll be able to catch. And again, you guys don't wanna make it really long either, but try to stay on the longer side rather than the short side. So right now I'm going to be tying a simple blood knot. If you guys haven't watched my video on that, just click right over here and you guys can go ahead and check that out. But essentially all it is pulling one line through. I'm going to twist this 5 to 6 times, just like this. So what you're going to do then is take the loose end, stick it to the loop right above the crane swivel, pop that through the bigger loop, just like this. And then you're gonna pull that really tight. Then you can wet it a little bit just to make sure it's all nice and secure. Give it a little tug, make sure this tide isn't slipping out, and then you should be good to go. Then obviously you're gonna wanna cut off this loose end right here. So let's go on to the other side. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, tie a little blood knot. So through the eye of the hook, then I'm gonna bring it around like that. And this is why you wanna make your leader really long, is so that you guys have a lot of play when you're tying the hooks and rigs, and that when you guys make it a little bit shorter, you're gonna have a hard time because the finished product is gonna be a really short leader. So essentially you kind of just ruined it if you make a really short leader. So again, put it through that loop right there. And again, if you guys haven't seen the other video, you can see it much more clear in that one. I'm just kind of speeding through this. So now that I have that, make sure this is nice and tight, and then we're gonna cut off that loose end right there as well. So I have the bloodworms, Makata lures, and the Hawaiian anglers strips. And I'm actually going to be using this one that I already had open. So I'm going to take this out and just string it right on. So I'll show you guys exactly how I do that. So this end, you can see obviously it's a little square on the top. Let me focus. You guys can see it's a little square on the top, and it just kind of gets thinner as you go down. So you're just going to stick the hook right in through the fat part of the square. And it doesn't need to be perfect. I kind of missed the center right there, as you can see. And that's it. So you got a perfectly good Halalu rig right here. So now I'm going to be showing you guys a nice little hack that I actually learned from a fellow local YouTuber named Scuba Chris. He actually pre-cuts these cardboard boxes and writes out what kind of rig it is. So you can see I already put Halalu on top of here. Don't mind my terrible handwriting. And yeah, he just cuts little slits right here. That way he has his rigs ready to go. He can just pop them right on and off. And so let's just go ahead and do that right now. So a big shout out to Scuba Chris. You guys can check out his YouTube channel right here. So you're just gonna stick the hook on one side, and we're just gonna be wrapping it. As you guys can see, this cardboard box has taken a beating already. And that's all she wrote. So in the morning when I set up my fishing pole, I'm just gonna grab this little side right here, unravel the whole thing, tie it to my pole, and I'm good to go. So that's essentially how you guys tie a Halalu rig. I hope that was insightful and you guys learned how to do it. You guys can go ahead and purchase all this stuff. If you guys want to learn where I bought everything from, then just go ahead and message me, DM me on Instagram at Team Fish and Dive.
Oh! Yeah, Keith!
I'm just holding them, don't worry, I don't like them.
Thanks, huh?